Hi, I'm Adam Johns. He's Mark Potash. We're from the Chicago Sun-Times, and welcome to another edition of the Bears Video Mailbag. We'll call this the bye week edition. All right, Mark, just an ugly, ugly loss in New England. We were both there, and this question comes from Pat on Twitter. Do you get a sense from anybody in the Bears locker room that this season can be saved?
That's the only sense I get. They have no idea, it sounds like, that they're in quite the arrears that they are at this point, at a really bad 3-5, in my opinion. No, in the Bears locker room, and this is a credit to Mark Trestman, they have banded together, and it's not quite like what me worry, but it's like they don't see this as quite the whole that everybody else does, and they see themselves as being so close to being consistent, and that I hate the word execution, that it's only a matter of just fixing one or two things here or there, and they will be there. So I don't see any dread in the locker room. I don't see anybody quitting. It's way too early for that at this point.
This is from Larry C., who goes by the name Ducks Forever on Twitter. I hope that's not a reference to the Anaheim Ducks. But anyway, at what point does Mel Tucker's job become on the line? You'd think it would be already, but it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, I think Mel Tucker's job is on the line as far as this season goes. They're not going to make a change in midstream. I can tell you that. I'm almost positive of that. But on the other hand, would they make a change at the end of this year, as they did with some assistant coaches last year? I think absolutely. I mean, Mel Tucker has to prove himself, and he's been given some pretty good talent on the defensive line that he doesn't have quite the excuses that they had last year.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I don't think injuries can be used as an excuse like they were last year. I know Briggs is banged up. I know John Bostic's banged up. Lamar Houston's out for the year with the torn ACL.
Those aren't big producers, though.
No, but he's got his coaches now. He's got Reggie Herring, Paul Pasqualoni. I mean, he's got his guys that he needs, at least as a defensive staff. He has no excuses, like a Jay Cutler has no excuses.
And he knows it. And I mean, just like Joe DeCamillis knows it, that, they all know what the situation they're in.
This is from Big Hurt NYC. Lots of questions from him always. Good ones, too. If Mills has success at left guard, remember Mark Trestman hinted at him playing that with Matt Slauson out for the year, would perhaps they look into right guard? Right guard is, I think he means right tackle, as a permanent spot for Kyle Long moving outside.
The idea of Kyle Long becoming a tackle has always been on the table, I think. It's a little too early for that to happen. But I would say, I'd say anything like that is possible. They have not talked about that, because they don't want to kind of upset that apple cart, I guess. But the idea of Kyle Long moving to tackle is one that the way their Mills has played a tackle, with the production they've gotten a tackle, that certainly has to be one consideration for next season.
Yeah.
Not this year.
I would say they have to find somebody who could replace Kyle Long at guard to begin with.
Right.
This is, in terms of their scheme, they call it like an inside-out protection where they force the defensive ends out wide. Bushrod and Jordan Mills or Michael Ola would ride these guys outside, and it's in the middle with Matt Slauson, Roberto Garza, and Kyle Long, where they really have to win the battle to allow Jay Cutler to step up and make throws, accurate throws, good mechanical throws. That's the goal. That's why guys like Kyle Long are so valuable inside, not so much outside.
Well, that's the key point, is that Kyle Long is a guard. It's not like the old days where your guard was a much lesser producer, I guess, in your run game or even in your pass protection. Now, a guard as mobile and as athletic as Kyle Long is almost as valuable at guard as he is at tackle, the way the Bears run their offense.
All right, let's wrap up this video from one from our friends at Chicago Sports Talk. The Bears look so good on paper. What's stopping them from putting everything together? To me, it's one thing, and really one thing only. It's Jay Cutler. A better Jay Cutler moves the ball. A better Jay Cutler keeps that bad offense off the field. A better Jay Cutler takes the pressure off Mark Trestman, and he makes his receivers productive. It's all Jay Cutler. Him and Mark Trestman are linked to the hip here. Whatever Trestman can get out of Jay Cutler, that will define the Bears in the second half.
And I would agree with that, but I got to say, Jay Cutler statistically has been better even before that second half Sunday.
He still has those turnovers.
He's better statistically, but he's not better. He's not better in the key areas which is kind of just got to have that ability to put a team on your shoulders every so often and just score because you're the gosh darn quarterback. He doesn't do that. That's where Mark Trestman was. People had hoped that he would turn him into that kind of quarterback. hasn't happened. So I agree with you on that. But I will say that Cutler has been, I think, better, but just not good enough. So that's always, quarterback is always a factor. But I think in general, because you look offense, defense, you always hear this thing. They say we just have to execute. That's fine in weeks 1, 2, or 3 when you're just coming off of training camp and stuff like that. Week 8 or 9, you're pretty much defined. If you're talking about execution, it's just not, whatever they're teaching you, it's just not getting through. So I think it's more of a broad-based issue with the Bears coaching staff, and that's why people are wondering, because this isn't just bad luck. This isn't just a tough schedule. They're just not as well coached this year as they were last year.
All right, well, he's Mark Potash. I'm Adam Johns. Thanks for watching this this bye-week edition of the Bears Video Mailbag. Stay with suntimes.com for all our Bears coverage.